Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Breeding the Honeybee. I'm Brent Nixon and today I'm going to be speaking with Laurie Cowen. Laurie's from Tasmania, Australia, and he does a lot of work mentoring people in beekeeping. He works with the Tasmanian Junior Beekeepers Club, with Sisters Hives Australia, and he also produces nucleus colonies and queens. Really looking forward to chatting with him today. How are you doing today, Laurie?
Not too bad.
Oh, that's good.
I've got COVID, but I don't know how I'm going to go because I'm coughing a bit.
Oh, really? So you're feeling okay?
Oh, yeah, gradually getting through it. The wife, she's had it and she's got over it, and now I've had it for a few days.
Okay. Well, that's not very nice of me. I'm interviewing you on a day you're not feeling too well. Sorry about that.
Well, one of them things, isn't it?
Mm. So, you're really into queens down there in Tassie, is that right?
We're not doing as much now as what we was. We're sort of coming to the end of it, really. But we've been breeding queens pretty near ever since we sold our honey business. We kept a few hives. We've been doing, we took on teaching. Me and a few of the others teaching beekeeping. We're running courses here for a few years, and we've always had the field day here. When we had a lot of the hives, we had about 360 hives, and we've sort of used this here for the field day for about 14 years. Because we're just out of Cambridge. That's not far from Hobart, and it's a good central place where we got our honey house, and it was good, good for parking. A lot of people used to come here. We had up to 200 people here, like beekeepers, one year here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so now, go on.
Oh, so you were predominantly doing honey early on, and now you're sort of more doing queens.
Yeah, we don't actually do the queens. We do the cells, and we make up little nukes, like little small little hives that start people off. We started doing that because once we run the courses, we did. There'd probably be 25 in a course, and we got back to the people who would have done the course. They would, they'd say to us, "Well, we've done the course, but we can't get any bees. We've still got 2 years. Some of them still didn't have a hive of bees." So that's when we decided to make these little nukes, and I went into breeding and making up little boxes, and then they would buy a little box, and the money would go to the association, Southern Branch anyway. So, and that's what we started. We sort of started doing that, and it sort of snowballed onto that, and we got more and more all the time. Then we started selling a few until we sort of got so, you gradually get sick of something, don't you? We've been doing it for a fair few years, so now we've got a few hives now that we're just gradually sort of getting out of it now.
Mm-hmm.
And,
so what you're saying is, if people ask really nicely, they can still get them.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone that just wants to, we'll do a few queen cells, and if they've got a hive, they can take the little nuke, so many frames of bees off, and they can get the cell from us, and then they will put the cell into their little nuke, and then when it hatches, it takes over, makes a little hive up, and they just build, add to it all the time until it becomes a nice hive.
So I've been told that when you sell your queen cells, you put them inside a bit of conduit, and people take them home.
Yeah. Just a small amount. That's the idea of the conduit. Is you put it. It's like a cell protector. You put the cell into this little conduit, and when you put it into the nuke, it's sort of protected, and the bees, if they don't like accepting it, they can't sort of chew the side out, because if they're going to destroy a queen cell, they always do it on the side of the cell, but not at the end. So when you put them in these little tubes, if they go up, and the bees will go up into into the tube, and they can sort of, if they do start chewing it, they only sort of come to the head of the queen because her head hangs down, and she can sort of protect herself.
Mm-hmm.
So it just happens now and again, but it's just another way of protecting your queen when you put it in, because there's a fair bit of work in, breeding them, so you don't want to lose too many.
Mm. So what's your advice to people if they are coming to pick up a queen cell? What's your advice for transporting that back to their house?
Pretty near. They've got to be sort of know. I've got to know when they want it, because when they pick it up, the day or two before, they've got to make up this little nuke and take it out of the hive, and then make sure there's no old queen in it. And they make this little nuke up, and they'll take it away from the hive, and then that's so that the bees don't flow back to the hive. So then they'll settle down, and then with no queen, then that little nuke realises then there's no queen, so that's when they put the cell in, and then that cell will hatch out and take over that little nuke. And that starts off another little hive.
Hmm. And do you find that when they're transporting it, that there's any issues with them getting a bit chilly or getting a bit too cold?
Not really, because most of them sort of done the bee courses. Most of the ones that we've sort of get them off us, and the other ones are sort of blokes and people that come back pretty near every year and get a few like that. They might get 6, they might get a dozen, and they sort of know, and they bring along a little sort of esky thing with something in the bottom of it. Some of them use a bit of a bag of rice and put it in the microwave and warm it up, so when they get here, or just something that's going to keep it nice and warm.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and that just keeps it warm enough. But they're pretty. Queen cells are pretty hardy. They'll last a while as long as they don't get too cold. Yeah. So that really overheating them is worse than getting a little bit cold.
That's interesting. So, what strain of bees are you using down there?
Italians.
Okay.
Italians. We've got a breeder queen. We've always used breeder queens from Joe Horner. He's in New South Wales, and most of the queen breeders down here mostly get queens. A breeder queen. It's like getting a purebred bull. We buy a purebred queen just to take the grubs from, to breed from.
Mm-hmm.
So we know we got a good strain, and they're very quiet. That's what we go from. They're good honey producers, and they're very quiet and good to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the main reason why we sort of did stick to something nice and quiet, because once we started this breeding for new beekeepers, doing the course in it, because knowing that some of them's a little bit scared of bees and sort of didn't want to sort of get them into something that was nasty, and it sort of went on from that. And we've always bred nice. We've always had information back. My queens and bees are so quiet. Some of them say, you can work them without any gear on, but I always advise them to sort of you always wear something over your head, because you need to. You don't want to get stung in the face or your eyes or something like that. So you need to sort of always wear your gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Joe Horner's queens, they are very good. He's a very nice man, actually.
Joe Horner?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's very good. He definitely knows. He knows what he's talking about, and he has some beautiful queens. Good strain, They're good to work. Because with the one lot of girl that done the breeding, she went on to she set up a junior beekeeping for young kids, and so she asked me to make her some up, and we did 3 hives to start them off, and they all commented, none of the kids hardly got stung. The bees, you could go through the hives and you could pull the frames out. and the bees would just be sort of crawling around over the hives. They wouldn't sort of fly around like aggressive bees. They'll attack your veil and bombard you. That sort of thing you don't want with little children sort of learning. That scares them a bit. So they was all very happy with these queens that I put in their little nukes for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was going to ask you about working up there at the Tasmanian Junior Beekeeping Club. It's a really great thing they've got going on there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's that many children that it's fantastic to sort of just I've been there and just watch their faces, and Anita, she's so good with children. If you watch their faces, they don't take their eyes off you. As she's talking, you can see the interest that they've really got. What she's teaching them. Yeah, so we've just been helping out a little bit like that, and a few days go there when they have days making frames and boxes and putting things together and talking to them about different things, and it's a really good thing. And now they've got the other one. They've got the sisters' hives. Have you heard of that one they've got?
Yeah. I've seen. I like both of those pages on Facebook, and I've seen that you've been doing some good work with both of those groups, the Sisters Hives Australia and the Tasmanian Junior Beekeeping Club.
Yeah, that has really taken off, and because when I often thought about something like that would have been good, but Jenny McLeod sort of got going, got it together, because when we did the courses, there was more women doing the courses and more interested than what there was men had come along. So you could see there was an opening there for women, that just something that they wanted to do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think it's really great, again, with the Tasmanian Junior Beekeeping Club. They've got their own premises now, which is fantastic for them.
Yeah.
Some place they can work out of.
Yeah.
And it's going really good.
Yeah, that's a big advantage for them. They're not sort of getting around trying to have to, get in different places and all that sort of thing. The last one we had here 2 or 3 weeks ago was out at the men's shed out at Claremont. They got a big shed there that was putting boxes together and frames, and there's a good roll up there of all the sister beekeepers, and it's so good. It's good. It's good to sort of trying to teach someone, and some of them don't know how to drive a nail in, and then others are so good. They think, gee, they're a carpenter. They can put nails straight in really good. So there's a lot involved in it. So, if they learn the right way, they get off to a right start.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So when it comes to queen breeding, what advice would you have for grafting or building up the queen cells?
Well, it's really anyone can breed. Pretty near anyone can sort of breed queen cells, but to breed good queens is a fair art in it, because you got to start off from scratch, and you've got to have the right sort of hive that's going to build a good queen cells. Strong, plenty of pollen, and then they've got to be pretty well fed right through the 5 days that they're feeding before they seal them off. So it's something you need to sort of go into a bit and go with someone that sort of that's done it before and show you, and do a lot of reading up on the professional ways. And because if you get a queen, like if someone who gets a queen and does it and it's not fed properly, it'll be a sort of inferior queen. And once they're in the hive for a while, it's not long the bees realise that she's not laying properly, she's not laying enough eggs, so then they'll supersede her and they will make their own queen. So you lose the queen you breed. So you really need to put a lot of work into sort of get good queens.
Right. And so with the nutrition that you just mentioned there, what would be your advice for making sure that she's well fed?
you need to sort of don't start breeding in an area where there's no pollen. So if we don't start here until it's sort of in September, getting through to middle of September or even later than that. If the bees, if you're looking at your hives and the bees are working good and then they're carting a lot of pollen in, a lot, not just pollen, a lot of different types of colour of pollen, so that there's a lot of different nutritional stuff in different. Some pollens don't have a lot, but others have real good pollen. You can feed pollen to them, but we've never had to do that because we've sort of, our bees here where we are here, that's time of the year, it's springtime, there's everything sort of flowering and there's so many different pollens coming in. So we just sort of rely on the pollen that's coming in, and squeezing your bees down tight to you, making your bees sort of crowded and so many bees in that creates them to sort of want to make queen cells. So there's a lot of little knacks in it you learn as you're going, which you can improve on, and you're listening to other people. And I started off done a queen breeding course in Launceston when Dr. Doug Somerville come over from New South Wales, and he run a course up there, and that sort of started me off. And there's a fair few who have done the course, and most of them sort of kicked off and started because everyone used to buy their queens in here. Nobody sort of wanted to sort of have a go and take the risk of doing it. But then it just needed that starting off, someone to start you off, and then once you got going, you thought, it's easy, and then you pick up all these little traits where you can sort of improve all the time on it. So that's how we sort of went on with that.
Oh, fantastic. Now, there's something I want to ask about Tasmanian beekeeping. Every time I see pictures of hives in Tasmania, and I have been there a few times and I've seen them personally, it's always ideals. And I've asked a few of my friends in Tasmania, and their answer is just, that's the way we do it in Tassie. What's your opinion about that?
We run all ideals. There's some beekeepers they like the full depth boxes, and another thing too, like one we got here that likes the full depth boxes, but he sells the full depth boxes. That's his business, so it's his advantage to probably sell full depth. But a lot of them, the idea, we've always used ideals because, another friend of mine, he's always used, and we're teaching through ideals too, because you can move the frames anywhere in the hive. You can move the frames and they'll fit any box. You can, because we're under a real short span of honey. We only got about 3 months to get your hives strong and go to the leatherwood. So when you go to the leatherwood, you need a maximum strength in your hive. A lot of bees to get a crop of honey. So what we do with the ideals, you can move your brood, so 2 or 3 frames of brood up in your hive, or more than that, and then you can put frames down into the brood. Within 2 or 3 days, that frame you put down, they'll be full of eggs, and it pushes the queen to lay. She'll be flat out laying all the time, and by the time you move your bees after Christmas in January, we go to the leatherwood, you can have a massive hive full of worker bees. So you've got to do that to get a good crop of honey. Yeah.
I'll just tell a little story here, Laurie. For those people who don't know, in Tasmania, in Australia, there's the leatherwood, and in January every year, there's a big rush to get hives in there, and it's a famous crop, isn't it? It's a fantastic honey. It's award-winning, and it's a mad rush to get all the hives in there on time. And there's some fantastic videos about it online where they're even taking them in by helicopter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's because don't matter how much leatherwood you get, you can sell it. You can put it on the market, and someone would take a lot of it just to get it, because a lot of our honey was taken. What we didn't sell here, we would sell to beekeepers on the mainland because they wanted leatherwood. Because Tasmania is the only place you can get leatherwood honey in the world, and then even in Tasmania, it only grows on the west coast. It grows from the south to the north. On the west coast, it doesn't grow on the east or the Midlands or anywhere. So it's in rainforests. It's understory, grows under the gum trees and all this sort of stuff, and it relies on rainfall. Like last year, the west coast was so dry, we've virtually got no leatherwood whatsoever. It just dried up, and the flowers dried up and just blew off. So it was the worst year I've ever seen.
No, it's a very interesting story, that with the leatherwood. One more question regarding the ideals there, Laurie. Does it make it difficult to find the queen with, because how many ideals do you normally use as your brood chamber? Do you use excluders?
No, we don't. No.
Okay.
We use 4. We don't have much trouble finding. We mark our queens. So each year there are a different colour for 3 years. The 3 different colours we use. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what colour you use, as long as you use. They have got a code, but we just, because the code is 5 colours, but we use, because we change our queens around, so we just use 3 colours. Mm-hmm. And it's they stand out so well. And once you're looking for the queen, you go for the brood area. If you've got a super full of honey on the top, it's quite obvious the queen's not going to be up in the honey very seldom. So you sort of go for where the brood is, and then when you get to the brood, you look for where the queen, where she's got a pattern of eggs that she's laying. So she'll be in that area where you'll find eggs. So been going through your hives steady, gentle, and don't bump your box so you don't disturb the queen, and some of them will run a bit, move a bit. But if you're nice and gentle, go through frame by frame, put them aside, and you've very, very little trouble in finding them. There is other ways too. You can some of them use a queen excluder. They'll just put a queen excluder in the middle and then leave it for a few days, and then they'll know which half she's in because where the eggs are, where she's laying. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of little tricks you come across when you're working bees, to make things a bit easier for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm. No worries. Well, thanks a lot for doing the podcast here, Laurie. Is there anything else you want to mention before we say goodbye today?
Not really. Only I suppose you haven't heard any more update on the varroa mite in New South Wales yet?
Oh, I've been watching it really closely. I think it's all up in the air at this stage, isn't it?
Yeah, because now that in that area too, they've got all these floods. Really making it hard for them.
Yeah, it's. I think at least being in Tasmania, you might be sheltered from it for a few more years than we are. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah,
they'll be doing a lot of checking, or they are already down there now. But everyone's checking eyes around the place now, making sure that everything's on board, because last year we haven't, but there's been a few queens brought in from New South Wales, and they'll be checking all those hives. So that's about it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get it under control, but if we don't, it'll be a bit of a shame. It'll make it hard. You won't be able to get your queens from Joe Horner anymore for a while. Well, that'll be a bit of a shame. But but the good news is you're a bit more protected in Tassie. So Tassie and WA probably a bit of a buffer there. But let's hope that it just they can knock it back and we're all good.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah,
No
All
worries.
right, Brent.
All right, thanks,
All right,
Laurie.
Brent.
Have a great day. Sorry again for calling you when you had COVID. That was a bit nasty
No,
of me.
you're right.
And
Just an old bit.
no
Yep.
worries. All right, thanks, mate.
All right, mate.
See ya.
Catch up with you. Bye.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that episode with Laurie Cowen. What a fantastic guy he is. Now that we're coming into spring, you might have some luck getting some queens from him. I know he said he's getting out of it, but as we talked about, if you ask him really nicely, you might have a shot. He's down there in Cambridge in Hobart, for those people who are down that way. Hope you enjoyed that episode. If you want to get in touch with me, you can at nixonbees.com.au. And until next time, thanks so much for tuning in.